Get this. Weekdays on the Triple M network and KOFM in Newcastle. Bizarre love triangle. That's what we've got here. Myself, Tony Martin, that man Ed Cavalier, and Richard Marsland on the buttons.
Wow.
And what about his other boss? It's Rove McManus.
Dun, 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 dun. I'm the acute angle.
Are you just?
I don't know, whatever.
Oh, right.
Don't bring maths into it. Whatever you do, don't bring maths into it.
Much too early for trigonometry on this program. Richard Marsland, how did he get his job on your program, Rove?
We slept together.
Oh,
So
yeah,
he
that old
answers it.
business.
He answers it.
Yeah.
No, it was through Peter Hellier.
Yeah.
When he was working in the building. And he said, there's this guy, this young upstart, this up-and-comer who's writing good stuff. And so we used to, Richard would just submit lines
Yeah, there we go.
for a while there. And the lines were working. We liked it. Those lines became sentences. Those sentences became paragraphs. And before you know it, he's putting on a kilt, standing just out the front of our office, pretending to be Mel Gibson in Braveheart.
And a model of unfulfilled potential.
And he used to sidekick it to Ann Wills on the Adelaide Morning Television. Did you ever see any of that?
I'm a big fan of Ann Wills. Absolutely.
What's happened to Ann?
I
She
think
on the sauce?
She did some morning radio.
She on the sauce tone.
So you were like the Lawrence Mooney to her Denise Drysdale.
That's exactly what I was.
Yeah.
To come in and provide nutty asides.
But she's been axed, and where is she now?
Well, every time you hear about her, she's suing someone. She slipped over in a furniture store and she broke her ankle. So that was a good 6 months worth of
In a
press for Ann.
furniture store.
Yeah,
now,
something.
and when you slip over in a furniture store, wouldn't you just say, just by sheer law of averages, you should land on something before you hit the ground? Which is a settee, a couch, an armchair.
Slipped over? I thought you said she'd slept over at a furniture store. I go, you
I
think it's
thought,
that bad? Fred Wills.
Now, I don't know if you guys noticed, there was a couple of episodes ago where it was just about a world of Marsland. And
Yeah,
the
there
first
was.
opening segment, we had you not only starring as sex video
Craig McDermott.
for Craig
Yeah,
McDermott, you also
yeah.
did the voiceover for it.
And
And then
he-
later on, we're in the instalment of Sex Office as the maintenance guy.
There was a bit of below the desk work going on.
Yeah.
But what about this week?
quota was up.
What's anything in store this week, Richard?
I don't think I'm on board this week at all.
Well, so this is the joy
Maybe-
of a Monday, you see, because this is where we kind of work out all the little more topical things that normally we just shoot the day before or day
Okay.
of, and that's when we go, who's available? Richard, you're our man.
Well, Richard,
Yeah.
we've got an email here. Ryan's emailed in and said that he's been getting spam emails from one Almeric Cluck. Ring any bells, Rich?
No.
Oh, really?
Almeric Cluck, no.
Oh, really? Because he's wondering if Ricky M has evolved his Armitage pseudonym by creating a pseudonym who happens to have copious amounts of Viagra to sell.
What is this?
Definitely not. no.
Rich, is this?
No, I was thinking about expanding it into some sort of company called Villeroy and Bock, the Armitage Shanks Empire, but no, definitely not that.
I hope somebody out there can follow some of this. Our show's out of control.
Pseudonym with a pseudonym.
A
Yeah,
pseudonym
it's
on
a
a
pseudonym with a
pseudonym
pseudonym.
on a nickname. That'll be doubtless in the new Wikipedia or Citizendium. I can't follow
Stop
that.
it, Tone. No cut.
I've been blocked
No
from
cut.
Wikipedia.
Have you been blocked?
My
Your
page
is
has been
locked.
shut down.
What was going on your page? I was the dad on Alf for 3 episodes. So
I
that's when
was
the padlock
David
came up.
Hasselhoff's cousin,
Yeah.
and I bred kangaroos.
That's quite clean, though.
But I was the only person who had a very rare species of blue kangaroo in the country. And then I, at one point, put out the call to people to make me part of some bizarre foreign film
Right.
called Torre Molinos 73. And so I was, and so therefore I was added to that as the director or something, and that's when Wikipedia just went, bow, no more.
See, that's quite clean.
Get out!
He's found a blue kangaroo. I mean, that's quite harmless, really. If you went to my page, it would be, he blew a kangaroo. That's what it would say. And then there'd be a padlock up and it'd all be over.
Your page has been unlocked, Rove.
Yes!
So
It's free. It's available.
Wikipedia vandals, you know what
Let
to do.
them have it. Let them have it.
What else was going on over the weekend, Rove? You saw some sort of TV show
There was
where...
a show that, and they've been teasing this for a while
Yeah.
on your Fox 8, on your pay channel, and it's called Black White.
All right.
Black and White, and it's where they take an African American family, black
Yes.
family, and they put them in the white makeup. Then they take the white family, the Caucasians, and they dress them in the black makeup.
And what has hijinks ensue?
Hijinks ensue. And so episode 1 was last night.
Rove, do you have to swap lives completely? Like if I, do the kids have to go, like just swap, let's go to the school that the other kids were at?
Well, not so much the school, but they certainly have to go live the lifestyle.
Okay.
So like the black father who's made to look white had to go play golf and buy some shoes.
Buy some shoes.
Buy some shoes. And he was excited because he got to use a shoe horn. It was the first time he went to a shoe store and they had him use a shoe.
It's a cultural eye-opener.
And I thought that's got nothing to do with the colour of his skin. I'm sure it's just where you go. Yeah. But there was, when they first put on their makeup and they're having to learn how to behave like a member of the opposite race. And first off was the black mother who's made to look white.
Yes.
And she got a little excited and kind of dropped character straight away.
I look up in the mirror and I'm like, damn, I'm white.
See, that would kind of be a giveaway for me.
Yeah, well
But you're
spotted.
walking into a store, hi ma'am, can I help you? Damn, I'm white.
I seen the ghost.
Thomas! She jumps on a stool.
How
How
convincing is the makeup?
It actually isn't too bad. The makeup was actually pretty good for some
the
of them.
makeup in White Chicks with the
Yeah.
Wayans brothers was
That was really
That was a bit
disturbing.
freaky. It was a little bit freaky. And then, obviously, they all had to get together for a bit of a powwow session
good.
where the whites and the blacks would tell each other, here's what we do as a race that maybe you can take on board. And let's have an open forum, ask a few questions. And you're sitting there just looking at the white folk, just going, please don't say anything to make us look bad. Don't make us all seem like we're ignorant racists. Please. Oh, dear.
What if all of us are having dinner together and there are pretty much equal blacks and whites, and then the whites leave and y'all start jiving? Jiving?
See, that's white. That's very white.
Is it really?
Is it really? Is it really? She says. So if all the blacks, if the whites leave the room and the blacks all start jiving, is that a bit of white? Is that a white thing to say? Is it?
Guys, let's start jiving.
Yes.
That white woman's still here. We'll
Pass,
just wait for her to
pass the
leave.
grits, please.
And
Don't drink and jive. Be very careful.
But Ed, you were correct. The makeup is very good, and there's a mother and father and their daughter. So she's made up to look black, and she has gone to a slam poetry session.
Oh, yes, please.
And which is where they get up and they
It's a poetry slam.
They vent their anger about the I don't know
About the man.
the man.
About Whitey.
keeping him down.
And
Dressed as a
put
black
it-
man.
Except they put it in rhyming couplets, which is
there you
really
go.
nice.
Yeah, good.
So again, she looks the most convincing of all of them.
Good.
But then I think she kind of slipped up when they were giving away some of their influences.
I want everybody to introduce themselves and tell me your favorite entertainer.
My name is Latoya Hicks. My favorite artist is Mary J. Blige.
Thank
My
you.
name is
That's okay.
Cherie Busby, and my favorite entertainer is Prince.
Good.
Blessed. I'm an avid Michael Jackson fan.
My name is Jonathan. My favorite performer is Dave Chappelle.
Here she goes.
My name is Rose, and my favorite entertainer, I kind of love the Cranberries. Whoa. So,
The Cranberries.
love the Cranberries.
Diverse.
Diverse. Now, when there's someone in the group who says my favourite black performer is Michael Jackson,
I know,
you
that's-
think you're not going to struggle there.
That's
How can you do
confusing.
much? But then when you trump them with the Cranberries,
Which side of the fence does Michael Jackson fall on that show?
what have the Cranberries even been up to be an influence to any young person?
My favourite is Kajagoogoo. Do they meet? That's the thing. Do they turn them loose on each other? That would be the ending.
That's what I'd like to see. Well, it's only episode 1. Who knows what they've got down the track?
Let's see a scene where a whole lot of black policemen in whiteface are beating up Rodney King dressed as a white man.
But with
Could
a
that work?
shoehorn to give him a thrill.
That's some sizzle right there. Rose brought clips along.
Black and white.
Have any of our people ever brought clips along?
No, sir.
So you add it to the pile with your Dickinsons and your...
Dickinsons. Are you talking about Dickinson?
Because I love him. I love him. As much as you guys.
And because, like Dickinson, on today's show...
We're going to have an eye-popping, cracking lot of kit on that stand.
That's him! That's him, in case you don't know who we're talking about.
I'm going to say to you, this is sheer heaven for me. And I'm drooling already with this huge pair of globes. And
loves globes.
they're 25-inch globes. We're looking at over £200,000 for this magnificent pair of globes.
Oh,
And
yes.
I'm going to say these are probably the finest pair of globes
Yes,
that are on
globes.
sale in the country today.
Oh, me globes! That's constantly happening. Those ARIA awards, don't you make them?
Yes, the ARIAs are on Sunday, which will be very exciting.
Looking forward to a bit of swearing, gratuitous swearing.
Swearing, and who? I mean, there's always alcohol. There's always alcohol, and when you get your musos in your alcohol. I mean, not last year before, but John Butler kissed me on the human lips.
Oh, that'd be right.
And he's a fairly placid guy, but when John Butler's getting on the terps and getting a bit rock and roll.
It doesn't matter.
For a folky guy.
When that happened, did Michael Gudinski leap from his chair and just punch the air for
he
no
loved
reason?
It. He just loved it.
He's constantly doing that. I mentioned gratuitous swearing. We were going to have some gratuitous swearing in this spot. I was up all last night recording Tony Soprano calling Channel 9 to complain about them moving his show around because I don't know if they do this on Channel 10, but Channel 9, they just move shows around, if you noticed it.
They whacked it.
It's supposed
midnight.
It was taken to the tar pits.
It was supposed to be on at midnight, but now I understand it's being moved back again. It's now 10:30 again, so it's had 3 time slots in 5 episodes.
Sexy new time.
They're keeping it a moving target. It's like, in The Godfather where they have to hit the mattresses. That's what that show has done.
It's like a 3-card Monty game with The Sopranos. The only way you can get it is to get it out the boot of a car of one of The Sopranos.
So is there much of a difference to sort of put it on at midnight? And they go, no, we've moved it to 10:30, so that'll keep them happy.
But how does it work for language? Because there was fairly fruity language on the Sex and the City, and that went out at 9:30.
It did.
So how does that work?
I don't know.
When does it start being no holds barred? Like at what point? What time of night?
We're allowed to swear at 9:30. We're allowed to swear, but also I think because we're live, they give us leniency. So I think we're allowed 2 F-bombs.
Hey, 2?
A 2. So I would kind of think, so if we haven't, surely my logic would think if therefore we don't use 2 in one episode, does that give us 4 for the next?
Do they accrue?
I would hope so. By the end of the year, that's our final episode. That's all we'll say.
You can spend a couple of those, Marsland.
I'd love to.
Yeah, well, take them out. Use them. They're yours.
I don't know
divvy them up.
Do you remember a few years ago, Rob Sitch got into a lot of trouble for swearing on the panel, for dropping the F word at 4 minutes past 11.
When the kids are awake.
And also, it was in reference to Donna Gabay.
Well,
wasn't it?
Who was that?
Exactly.
I'm not sure
that was his
Donna
line.
Gabay was. But only a week earlier, the Prime Minister, John Howard's favourite movie, do you know what it is? He always says in interviews, 4 weddings and a funeral.
Oh, yes.
That's his favourite. That had gone out at 8:30 at night, and that opens with the F word about 100 times.
Yes, it does.
If you ever see the script of that movie, it's just Hugh Grant saying it over and over again, but saying it in a posh, nice voice.
So it's all right, you see.
I think that's okay. If it's a lovely F-bomb, it's a delightful F-bomb, it's acceptable.
4 weddings and a funeral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Howard's favourite film.
I reckon, do you reckon he'd tear up during the funeral part of it? Or is it too much for him? He'll just fast forward that scene.
He just likes playing that bit about the Partridge Family over and over again. I reckon he'd be doing that dialogue to the missus. I think I love you. How did we get here? Soprano sketch.
Couldn't do it.
Got it in this morning, put it in the machine chewed it up, Ed. 5 hours work, and then Matt retrieves it.
Good work, Matty.
And we can put it to air.
Sweet.
And then he goes, I'm not going to have time to beep all these F words. I reckon I could do about 50 of them.
But there's 100.
It's about 100.
Let's beep them live.
So in that, you could do it, Richard. You could do it. If anybody could.
I know, but this panel's going to fall apart as soon as I hit it. 3 buttons fall off.
But as long as one of them isn't the beep button, you'll be fine.
Sweet. Come on, Rich.
I'm hoping we will have that bit tomorrow when it's no longer topical.
Well, can you just at least tease and let everybody know? What was their reaction? What did Nine deal with it very well?
Oh, you'll hear it all tomorrow. It's fruity, yes.
I feel like a donkey with a carrot in front of me.
I'll beep it, Tone. I know when. I can tell.
Yeah, you'll beep it.
Yeah.
You'll beep it live.
Why don't you just do a verbal beep?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I'm just going to speak out the beeps. Come on, Tone.
We had Bob Franklin drop the magic last week.
Yeah, he did.
And Rove claims he did it on his show.
Yeah.
Yes, muttered it. I muttered it to myself. I've only otherwise once on air. That was way back when we started on Channel 9.
Yes.
And I just by accident, because something was falling to pieces, some segment had been changed, and on my piece of paper I just kept going, "Where's this?" And the pictures that kept coming up weren't matching what I had in front of me.
So you went off.
I just went, "Oh, F it then."
All right. And has there ever been any big controversies? Rove been on, 6 or 7 years now?
We had American comedian Scott Capurro on.
Oh, yeah.
Who in the days when we used to, because as comedians, you know what it's like when people go, what are you going to do? And you write out the material, and on paper you feel like having to say when you hand it in for them to check, trust me, I deliver it a lot better than it reads.
Yeah.
Just, it's the way I say it. So we used to think, I know what that's like. So as long as we have rough topics, so we're not doubling up on gags, that's fine. So his was something like, I'm going to talk a little bit about religion, a little bit about something, a little bit about something else. Go, fine, no problem. And not realising that it would meant his religion material was about fornicating with major icons. And you go, yeah, okay, good, excellent. Clean, like the language was fine. It was just the context.
No, it's just that it clashed with all of your fornicating with major icons that week.
And unfortunately, because it's not an interview, so he's just there by himself. And for the first time, it's strange how your body actually sort of seems to leave your mind behind. And I was just sitting there going, maybe, just maybe, this isn't being broadcast live to a nation of people. Maybe somewhere like a crow has landed on our antenna and pecked the heart of it out, and this isn't being broadcast.
Hey, Rove, at what point is there anything that could go on where you'd go, all right, that's it, and you'd cut away, go to something else? At what point would you go, okay,
because for
that's enough, Marsland.
the naughtiest home video show, it was
best show ever.
A child touching a kangaroo's genitals was where Kerry Packer drew the line.
It wasn't at the conga line with the big sort of Afghan dog at the back of it?
Yeah.
Wasn't
That sounds great.
No,
that sounds great.
You know that they show that one now, pixelated. They show it blurred out.
Yeah, it's
really?
It's a Menzies commercial now. But what? Okay, so because I'm trying to think, a few years ago, I reckon my favourite thing I have ever seen on Australian TV.
It's a knockout.
No.
Oh.
Ooh, big cool.
Alan Jones on the Kerry Ann midday show the day after Chopper Read had been on Elle McFeast. Did you ever see that?
Oh, no.
It was gold. I mean, it was already gold before it happened because Elle McFeast had been had Chopper Read on drunk.
That's right.
And he'd said all this stuff. And the next
having
day...
a giggle. He's having a giggle.
And Kerry Ann got the crampons on and fought her way to the top of the moral high ground to look down upon everyone else. And she's gone. And you couldn't write a funnier joke than this, could you? I think it's a disgrace that they even give a man like that a platform for his views. We've got him on the line now.
You're joking.
And she had Chopper Read on the phone. Alan Jones was sitting there. And Alan wearing a pair of pea green slacks. And Jonesy's decided to look like a big man and take on Chopper. And such a bad move on live TV.
Why? What did Chopper have?
Alan Jones has gone, oh, look, you're a disgusting man. And they shouldn't be giving... It is a fine line between Alan Jones and John Michael Howes and I.
You know it.
It's that 1% gene difference. Mouse as humans. It's that same thing.
Howes and Jones.
And Chopper's just bided his time. And then, I won't say what he said, but it was a reference to a certain incident in a certain toilet block. And
how did Jonesy take that?
And it was just like, bang, one punch, Jonesy on the ground. And Kerry Ann, because the voice was coming from the ceiling, because he was on the phone.
Like John Blackman in Hey Hey.
Yeah, like that. But Kerry Ann actually stood up and started waving at the ceiling. She got out of her chair and started going, no, lose that. Get rid of him. Like waving at the sky.
Wait a second, but Rove's onto something.
Yeah.
If they need to spice up the Kerry Ann show, why not have Chopper on the line? John Blackman
like
style.
John Blackman.
That'd be great. Or he could come up like the little, like Dickie Need, head on a stick.
Mrs. K.
What is it, Chopper?
Hear about that incident that's all... No,
Chopper. No, Chopper.
Gee, that's good. That's a good idea.
They could really use that. The
So-
booth would be there.
A little Chopper Dickie Knee puppet actually voiced by Chopper Read
Fantastic.
on the Kerry Ann show. That's almost as good as our idea of getting Nick Kershaw on the back of a flatbed truck with 3 synthesizers
Solving the drought.
touring around drought
Solving
areas.
the drought. Solving the drought. The only
Nearly
way
as good. Nearly as good.
Have you got anything that good on your show, Rove?
No,
Nick
no.
Kershaw on the back of a truck.
That's the problem. We need
Flatbed.
ideas like that. We need that kind of creativity that you guys come up with.
But a lot of it comes from our listeners.
Well, look, if they can
Silly
do it,
for it.
if they could have anything even remotely as good as Chopper Read voicing a small puppet head version of himself on Kerry Ann's 9 a.m.
Rove is with us this morning. Can't find any dirt. You need one of these Alan Jones books on you done, I reckon, Rove.
Oh, you
But
read
that
that
wouldn't-
yet, Tone?
It's not. I was looking for it on the weekend. It's not out yet. The bits of the paper are so good.
That's the rest of our.
Do you reckon the Chopper Reed bit would be in there? The Chopper Reed Carrie Ann incident would be in there.
I'd like to think it's in there. There's so much gold.
Now, do you find a book like this comes out and everybody's got excerpts that they print?
That's right.
To the point where you sit there going, oh, well, that's obviously all the best bits. Why would you otherwise need to go buy the book?
It's
the Shane Warne book, was it?
Yeah.
But everyone has their own idea of what the best bits are.
That's true.
And with Alan Jones, it's all the gay gear. It's all the, calling people up and bossing them around and telling them to deport this person, deport that person, that kind of stuff. But
can he have people deported?
He's right.
Yes, he
apparently.
can. Yes, definitely can.
Yeah.
Wow. Because I'm Alan Jones. Wow.
But to me, this
or John Michael.
It's a fine line. I'm telling you.
Could he just work the Hollywood in there though?
But have they ever been seen in the
Alan
same room
Hollywood
together?
Jones? No, but I'd like to hear Alan Jones do the. Remember, John Michael Hollywood House when he used to do GMA with Burton, they'd cross to him in LA. He used to do this old cinema kind of cranking camera thing action.
Alan Jones does have his own cranking action.
This movie type.
It's a fine line. John Michael House and Alan Jones. It's like the formula I worked out. Jack Nicholson plus Liberace equals Willem Dafoe. Think about it. I'd love to demonstrate, but it takes a long time to crank it up.
And he hasn't stretched.
Here's the line that caught my attention about Alan Jones, the excerpt from Chris Masters' book, Jonestown, available this week. This is talking about when Alan was a school teacher at the age of 29 at King's School at Parramatta. On the first Saturday of the school year, King's held its commemoration day. Parents were invited along to inspect the school, meet the teachers, and observe emerging talent. Everyone remembers Commemoration Day 1970.
Of course they do.
According to one of the observers, the whole school was flabbergasted. Resplendent in flared trousers and an orange cravat. Alan Jones...
Is that all he was wearing?
Probably.
Was he twirling his moustache?
Alan Jones, unannounced, got to his feet and belted out a number from the West End musical Pickwick, If I Ruled the World. How's that?
And then took off in a hot air balloon. By the sounds of things.
And then,
with that outfit.
I think, to one of the Sydney papers today, you've got someone from 2GB calling and defending Alan Jones and comparing him to Jesus Christ.
Well, have they ever been seen in the same room together?
Saying there was another bloke a few years ago who this happened to. It's one of those letters. I never saw Jesus Christ getting around in the pea green slacks,
No,
though.
neither do I.
Yeah, because you always hear I want to tell you about a friend of mine. He had some crazy ideas. I used to wear sandals. Everyone thought he was a bit out there. You don't hear that. I want to tell you about a little friend of mine. Had some crazy ideas. He used to wear this orange cravat and pea green trousers.
So if you've got your boss comparing yourself to Jesus Christ while you're standing up in the slacks singing If I Ruled the World, have you got a few maybe issues, do you think?
No,
perfectly normal
perfectly
behaviour.
fine.
Yep.
Perfectly
How
fine.
near have you got to that, Rove? How's the most out of control you've got? I mean, have you made any demands? Surely you've made a few demands.
The most out of control I got, let me think. There must be a time where I've tried to throw my weight around a little bit. No, look, not to that extent that I can think of. Where I've never jumped in anywhere unannounced, I would like to think, anyway, in that regard. Although I'm hoping there can be an observer like that. That's like having an industry insider or a source close to the couple. A fellow diner.
Have you ever been bagged out by the industry sources? Has there ever been anything written about you and it's just been attributed to sources insiders?
You know, mine is he's nice, so he can't be that nice, so therefore there must be something.
Right.
We don't have anything, but there must be something.
Yeah.
He must, pull the wings off butterflies or just...
That's a segment.
Taunt kittens with a little ball of yarn that they aren't allowed to play with. He just stands at the other side of the room, just going, "Ooh."
This is all good stuff, bro.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's our
got to be
dovetail.
something.
Hey, what about that? That's that new segment we're working on.
Whoa,
it's called When the. It's called When the, and it's just when is Ed Cavalier going to do all the hundreds of segments he's been sizzling up all year?
Come on!
Listen, Martin, I've got music to play.
When are you doing this show from a canvas sack?
I need a sack. I keep telling you. I'm ready. I'm sack ready. But I can't, unless I've got the sack, I got nothing to do with it.
You may well get the sack. In Melbourne last night, there was an earthquake. Rove McManus, you're based
I
in...
got a bit of quake.
Did you cop the quake action?
Copped a bit of quake.
4 seconds of shuddering. Now, people have sex, like, what is it, every, 10.10 of a second somebody's having sex. That means somebody would have, without realising it, have timed their sex to end during that 4 seconds.
Yeah.
How happy with themselves would they have been?
And it's not every day where you can actually ask, did the earth move for you?
Yeah.
And it could be a legitimate question.
That's fantastic. If you could time it for those 4 seconds.
Point 10, every point 10.
Do you think people do? They sit there just going, do I think an earthquake is going to happen sometime in the next 30 seconds? Because I could probably make it that long. Otherwise, I'll have to wait for... If I could just call someone.
What are you doing
warning
on the computer there, Ed Cavalier?
Just looking up the Passiona High section of our website.
Oh, how's that going? Passiona High.
Good. It's going really well, actually.
Is a cereal that Greg Fleet came up with it accidentally on air, and somehow it's ended up being a segment on the show.
Yeah.
Not sure how.
And we've got some very good...
casting suggestions.
Yeah, you know it. The cruel mathematics teacher. You are dealing with fractions. David the Duke Dickinson. Very
fantastic. Good. So it has to be cast from people who have been on or mentioned on
Absolutely
the show.
Right. So Rove's looking for a part.
Right.
Yep, sure.
Looking for a part.
Absolutely.
Who could Rove be?
Like
at school. What sort of person were you at school?
I was kind of in the middle ground. I was lucky because I was kind of above like the really nerdy kids and below all the really sporty guys. But I knew a lot of the sporty guys because I went to primary school with them, and one of them was my cousin, so I was kind of allowed into that circle.
Wow, no man's land.
No man's land.
Have we got someone on the line?
Yeah, I think we do.
And I was the guy who could get away with stuff because I was kind of the silly, jokey one. So you could kind of get away with stuff with teachers. They liked that.
Class wag, like Richard Marsland was.
Class wag.
In that film all those years ago. I think we've got Greg Fleet on the line. Are you there, Greg?
I am indeed, and I think Rove McManus has to be the handsome drama teacher that the girls have got the crush on.
Oh, yeah. Would I have patches on my sleeves?
Oh, no,
on my elbows?
That's only when it moves up to Passiona University.
Hey, so what would that character be called, Greg?
I think he'd be called... he'd have to have one of those, really interesting names like...
Leaf?
Or like, Container Harrison, or, like...
Container Harrison! Sold! That's on there. Why are you calling us, Greg? Where are you?
I'm in beautiful Brisbane, and you'll be very pleased to know this is absolutely true. I ran into some young people yesterday. The show's a big hit in Brisbane. Everywhere I've gone, I went into a newsagent this morning, and they went, Pete Fleet! So it's working for me.
Was that just someone who you owed money to?
Well, that goes without saying. It's just that the government have worked that into the tax scheme.
The fleet provisions.
Yeah. But I met these kids, and they're at school, and they actually went to a school sports day and crossed out on their T-shirts or whatever with the name of their school, crossed it out and put Passiona High
Is that
on the
right?
things, and competed primarily so that it would be announced over the PA system.
Fantastic.
And finally, someone came third in the long jump, and the person actually announced it, and third place in the long jump, Catherine Harrison, Persona High.
Persona High.
Didn't get it right, but
Persona High. Yeah, it's, their school's based on an Ingmar Bergman film. It's not as popular as Passiona High. Hey, Greg, thanks for that. Have you got anything you'd like to plug while you're on the line?
Not really. Just me in general. Just the Greg Fleet Enterprises.
But what are you doing in Brisbane?
I've been doing some comedy gigs. I've finished those. I'm actually going to Byron Bay tonight to do a gig there, and just kind of be a hippie.
Rove, we'd just like to point out Greg is now self-managed. How's that going for you, Greg?
It's going okay. The self-management bit wasn't working out that well. I had a guy ring me today for a gig in Tasmania, and I booked that in. I'm doing the gig for free, and I'm staying at his place.
Right. And I got your invoice last week. I'm not sure if the tax department will accept a serviette with my ABN number on it.
Oh, I thought that's what you wanted.
Isn't that how it works?
I think I'm going to have to get a real manager because I've got to get this whole getting paid and being put in hotels thing worked out.
Well, good luck with that. Maybe that'll be tomorrow's phone-in. Thanks for talking to us. And, Greg, we'll just go out with your improvised theme to Passiona High.
School of the air leaves you a loner. Come to the school that they call Passiona. Passiona High.
20 cents in royalty money coming your way. Thanks, Greg. Let's get on the road. Rove, this show of yours, how long has it been on?
This is year 6.
Man, you must be looking for a new segment.
The well is dry.
What's the least successful segment you've run?
Oh,
with?
This Week in History.
What was that?
It lasted 2 segments. We did the first time we just kind of went, maybe it didn't quite work, and the second time we went, no, it's just the segment. It was the idea of taking a legitimate event from This Week in History. First one was the invention of champagne, and then it was the first mobile phone being used in America, and then we would write a sketch based on those, which would be performed live in the studio, and it just didn't take off. I blame Ben Lee and his terrible 80s outfit. It was him and Peter Hellier together.
Maybe it just needed more Marsland.
I think that was the problem at the time, a severe lack of.
Okay, we need new segments. Hey, what about you, Richard? Have you floated any segments to Rove that have been knocked back?
No, I had one going at the start of the year, which was the Harrison Ford swear jar.
Yes.
Which has kind of been on the back burner.
But got stolen.
Oh.
The swear jar got stolen. We actually did have a Harrison Ford swear jar for guests who if they wanted to swear on the show, they could put money in the jar.
Was Greg Fleet on the show that week?
No, it had been going so well, and it was one of those things. The week before, I thought we just kind of leave it here. And there is money, accumulating in it. And someone, probably Stingray from Neighbours, I don't know.
There we go.
And sure enough, the very following week, it's gone. So
Could have been me.
We need an ideas shower in here.
We do.
We need a concept furnace. That's what we need. What have you got segment-wise, Ed? Anything that you can slip to Rove?
I reckon. It might take a while. It'll have to be like over a course of a season.
Sure,
right?
we can build.
We get Shanksy, right? Now, Shanksy, how's your... let's say you get Shanksy at the start of the season. Something he can't do.
Yeah.
Breakdance, Spanish, big up ladies. And throughout and then he goes on, he has lessons throughout the season, and he just gets better and better and better. And by the end of it, he's a Spanish-speaking breakdancing lady killer.
I like it. It's an arc.
It's positive, and it's
an arc. Listen to this.
You
just want it on the business card. That's what you want.
It's got arc. It's got Marsland. It's got breakdancing.
I love it.
There you go.
I can hear tumbleweeds in the studio.
I just love the dramatic pause. It's got breakdancing.
I can actually
just soak that up.
Yeah.
Just soak that up.
I could hear the air conditioning in my headphones.
See?
That's how well that one went down.
It's got an arc. It's got an arc. It starts slow and it builds on you.
They love an arc.
Yeah,
You can't accept arc. He added arc.
Yeah.
Well, look, once it's in this room, it's everyone's.
It's one of those words, because we're picking up new phrases all the time. Razzle-dazzle filter. That's one that you hear a lot around here.
Filter.
Make sure things
Everything's got to go through the razzle-dazzle
Put it through the razzle-dazzle filter.
before it goes to air. Content boost. That's
The
a phrase.
content boost is my new favourite.
Were we being told we need a content boost?
Yes, we need a content boost. Tone?
Okay, new segments. There was one on Martin Malloy a few years ago, Shoot the Celebrity in the Arse.
Didn't you win a prize for that?
I think we did.
You won a award for that or
Some kind of
something?
radio industry award for, combining crossbow bolts with celebrity clacker. That went down really well.
Not bad.
I've got an idea for a segment which really is a visual one. You can't do it on the radio. It's, celebrity lookalikes.
Yes.
That's too easy. The thing of combining two celebrities, like I was saying earlier, voice-wise, Jack Nicholson plus Liberace equals Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, not bad.
So,
nice.
So what about with faces? Like, can you do that? If you take this celebrity, they equal that celebrity.
Okay.
Now, that's an idea.
Yeah.
Well, actually, here's another short-lived segment we had, unlookalikes.
Unlookalikes?
People who don't look like famous people. We tried it once.
What was an example?
We had someone in the audience who didn't look like Oprah Winfrey. Some white man who didn't look like Oprah Winfrey. Actually, here we go. From episode 1 of this year, Richard Marsland played the unlucky audience member.
That's true, yes.
And that tanked. It was, congratulations, you're tonight's unlucky audience member. And then he blew up.
Aaron Bouquet.
And the idea was we would have Richard would play the unlucky audience member every other week. We'd say, now it's time for tonight's unlucky audience member, and he would be mauled by a Bengal tiger or something.
That's funny.
And we did the first one, he blew up, and it just didn't work.
The amount of text messages I got after that, my inbox was full.
And Richard Marsland doesn't bear a startling resemblance to
Jackie Chan.
See how you have to think. That's the key to it. You have to think because
they look
you
like?
instinctively would just go and blurt a name out, but you'd be worried. Well, what if I do happen to say Willem Dafoe and he has a touch of Willem Dafoe?
I'm trying to think an example of the A plus B equals C, and people wouldn't remember the last series of 24, the new female boss.
Yep.
Angelica Houston and Helen Mirren in one. I know you have to think back.
Tough one.
But the repeats will come on one night, you'll see it, and you'll go, Tony Martin was right for one.
Do you know what I found? When you're comparing one person to a celebrity, they would have to look exactly like them for people to go, yes. Otherwise, people would go, no, they don't. The key is that one kind of degree of separation where you say they look like they could be Gina Davis's sister.
Yeah, that's good. Sister, mother, or
brother.
Or female version of.
Yes.
Oh, that's my favourite.
Female version of.
We had a friend at university,
yes,
and he was there, and then his sister started at the university a couple of years later, and it just looked like he'd showed up with a wig.
Maybe he did.
It was
That's
terrible.
his sister.
Did you ask?
Yeah. No, but it was quite alarming. Hey. So.
Yeah, okay, that could be a segment. Who have we got on the line?
Hello, Brad. How are you?
G'day, boys. I'm good. Yourself?
Excellent, sir. Your idea for a new segment?
Look, I just think with Rove Show being on Tuesday night, it's perfect timing to do a show that takes the piss out of the reality shows that have been on the previous night, like Idol and Dancing with the Stars, and you call the show Care Factor. And you actually have comedians that are taking the piss and doing impersonations of the performance from the night before.
That's not Care Factor. I like that.
And well, hear it out. And the whole show is based on what a couple sitting on their couch are actually saying. Like, that really was crap, that performance by the chick that sang, I don't know, Heart of Gold or Heart of Glass.
And would this segment basically be what goes on at your house of an evening?
Yeah, well, it's not just my house. It's at everyone's house,
That's
isn't
true,
it?
I think it is.
The words that we were actually saying and thinking of at the time. And, I just think it'd be great if someone did break their leg on Dancing with the Stars.
Hey.
They show that when the guy comes in with a parachute on the grand final, but, they don't show it on Dancing with the Stars.
So that's the thing. They had the skating one, and everybody, no one was getting voted out. They were all just getting cut and sent to hospital.
That's right.
Sliced up, and that's how they were getting eliminated. So if you can add that.
We need the Tonya Harding factor. We need, Carl Stefanovic to just go someone with a lead pipe.
Oh, that'd be good.
It's not too much to ask, surely.
It's against
Care Factor.
Care Factor could work.
Hello, Hayley.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Yeah, good. Your idea for Rove?
My idea for Rove is my gross kids.
And what happens?
Right, pretty much it would just be me following my kids around with a video camera.
Yep.
To see the kind of things they put in their mouth.
Are your kids like worm-eating kids, that kind of deal?
Yeah. They're 1 and 2.
Yep.
And the amount of snot they can produce in a 24-hour period.
See, I wouldn't just restrict it to the mouth. My sister, when she was younger, was walking around the house making this very strange kind of snorting noise, and my parents found that she had shoved orange peel up her nose.
Oh, right.
Oh, nice.
To the point where she was getting a nice citrusy sensation around her brain. So I think if we open it up a bit more like that, because then you keep it, then you've got that up your sleeve, so it doesn't just week after week people just go, oh, it's another mouth thing, isn't it? You just go, whoa, turn it on its head. What about the nose?
Or you have a person who's just standing there, and the segment's called "Where Have They Put Orange Peel?" And you've got to guess. You've got to guess where the orange peel's
Where's
gone.
the peel? Pick the peel.
Care Factor. What's up my kid's nose? Can we top these ideas?
Hello, Grant. How are you?
G'day, how you going?
Excellent, sir. Your idea for Rove?
Just a person in a gimp suit doing everyday things.
Yes.
Wait a second. I think I've got the perfect casting. Richard Marsland.
He would too. He's got no choice.
I'd do it even if there were no cameras.
So at the beginning of the show, the gimp is released from his trunk.
Yep.
And then we just see him over the course of the show doing what sort of stuff?
Buying McDonald's.
Buying McDonald's.
Yes.
Great. You may be hosting a charity evening.
Yes.
Receiving a giant novelty check
That'd
from the
be
mayor.
nice. That'd be nice.
Making an omelette.
Sportsman's night.
So what was
What's
that?
A sportsman's night.
That's
Sportsman's
a great
night.
idea.
Fantastic. Doing his tax.
Best and fairest.
Just anything.
Thank you, Grunt.
Because
Finally,
it's hard
John.
out there for a game. Sorry.
Hello, John. How are you?
G'day, Ed. How you going?
Excellent, sir. What's your idea?
My idea was people who look like cartoon characters.
Oh, yes.
Now, we've tried that before.
Yes.
Doesn't really fire.
Yeah, I usually get a run when anyone does that.
Who do you get?
Computers for Dummies, Where's Wally, Harry Potter, any cartoon character with glasses.
Yeah.
Ed looks like, who did we work out?
Any. Just a cartoon character.
A generic cartoon.
Yeah, just a generic cartoon character.
Rove, who did you get?
Did you get anyone, Rove?
No, I didn't. I wouldn't mind having a, if you could look like, so you could do a touch of the Jimmy Neutron. There's a character on Jimmy Neutron, the one who puts on the superhero outfit and runs around. You could do a bit of that.
I could do that. Shanksy's got a touch of the, those two characters in Sesame Street that are always working out words by seeing the sounds?
Yes.
Those two sort of purple monsters.
Cheers.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got a touch of that
Not
about
a cartoon character, though.
And Shanksy's got a touch of the clumsy chef falls down the stairs to illustrate different numbers. With varying numbers of flans.
Remember
him.
him.
That guy?
Yes.
He does. That's all we got time for.
Although he had a stunt double for 7 and 9. That's what I was told.
You're kidding.
He couldn't do 9 strawberry flans himself.
Trouble with the...
Thank you, everybody.
And that's it.
That's all we got time for.
That is spun bloody gold right there.
Sorry to the guys we didn't get to.
Care factor. What's up your kid's nose?
My kid's nose. It had to be her kid.
my kid's nose.
Only her
You have to
kids.
go to her house every week.
Everyday gimp.
And you added in Where's the Peel?
Wow.
And Marsland falling down the stairs with flans.
Rove, thank
Brilliant.
you for coming in.
A pleasure.
Your show goes out 9:30, does it not, on Tuesdays?
It does.
And these ARIA Awards
Are on
This
Sunday.
week.
on Sunday night.
Yeah.
And what can you sizzle something for that? Any surprises?
Only that Keith Urban won't be there.
Yes. And I see in the press release Keith Urban's on your show tomorrow night.
Where he was meant to be, indeed. So
Have
that
I got
would be
an old
interesting.
draft?
Yeah, I think so.
Instead-
It's been an interesting weekend.
Instead, just Richard Marsland slurring and
And
swinging from
Johnny
a bottle.
Knoxville, speaking of people
that'll be
slurring,
good.
Johnny Knoxville will be here.
Okay. God. All right, that's all happening on Rove. Thanks for coming in. And our key phrase today, I think it was...
We're going to have an eye-popping, cracking lot of kit on that stand.
Get this. Weekdays on the Triple M network and KOFM in Newcastle.